We'll bring Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, pressafac.com into the conversation, Mike. I mean, I guess a surprise, but I'm not a surprise because of performance. A surprise because they signed this guy, they paid him real money, and he was really the only offseason addition they made, and they really thought this was going to be a piece that they didn't have. Are you surprised that they made this decision today?
Yes, as for timing, no, that I think it was inevitable. He just had not hit well. And then, if you go back to last season, sure, he had an excellent first half with Toronto, but he really didn't hit the second half of the season. So now this has almost been a full year of him not being able to hit the ball. Watch him play in person. He's gotten an opportunity the past couple of weeks to get some at-bats, and he has just not come through. He does not hit the ball hard. His bat shows no signs of life. So I'm surprised it happened today on Friday, July 12th. I am not surprised that he is been released, and I think it could be a precursor to a move to come in the next couple of weeks before the trading deadline.
Why do we feel that, I mean, did he just not fit in? Was he, what is it about this signing? Because it was a good signing, it felt like. Why did it not work?
Yeah, I mean, it looked great on paper, right? Here was a guy who could play multiple positions. He could play second base. He could play the outfield. He was a right-handed bat off the bench, which is what they needed, right? A lot of talk of him, giving Bryson Stott a break at second base once or twice a week. It didn't work because he didn't hit. I mean, he flat out did not hit. And, we'll find out more today. The clubhouse opens up in a couple of minutes, and Rob Thompson speaks at 3:45. So I'm just peculiar to find out the timing around it. Did they do it maybe to give him time to look for a new team? And again, I think it's a precursor of things to come. I think this says, without a doubt, they're adding a right-handed bat before the trade deadline, and they knew when they get that right-handed bat that Whit Merrifield was going to be the guy to go. So maybe they let him go now to give him time to look for another team. He
signed in the offseason, as Mike mentioned. He got a 1-year, $8 million deal. So, they paid him a decent amount of money. He hit .272, 11 homers, 67 RBI. He had 26 stolen bases. He played in the All-Star game last year. But as you kind of hinted at, the second half of the year, he really kind of slowed down, and maybe he just didn't have it anymore. But when you talk about this as the precursor, that right-handed bat, there's a guy that's going to be in here this weekend, Brett Rooker. You think it now becomes pretty clear that that's the next move?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wrote today a story I wrote about last night's game at pressafac.com. I mean, you look at the Brandon Marsh numbers, right? Brandon Marsh, home run and a triple last night, big game. He is batting over 300 against right-handed pitchers. Against lefties, he's 7 for 47. But let me repeat that. 7 for 47, and most of those 47 at-bats have been non-competitive. So it appears to me that the Phillies' best roster is to get that right-handed bat that can play in the outfield, put that guy in left field, then you have a righty-lefty platoon in center field with Rojas and Marsh, and you can bring Rojas in for defense in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings if you're up in a game. So I think that's the best version of the Phillies. I think that's what they're pursuing. And again, when they bring that right-handed bat in, the guy who is going to go is Whit Merrifield. So again, I just come back to maybe they're doing the player a favor here by releasing him now and giving him time to hook on with another team rather than doing it, at the trade deadline on July 30th.
Well, I would ask you this. I mean, they bring up Weston Wilson. Was it because they just couldn't keep him down anymore? I mean, since he went back to the minors, I mean, I know it's AAA. It's a whole different story. He's 29 years old. He's been up and down and all around. But since being demoted, 315, 446 on base, 10 homers in 93 plate appearances. Did they just say, we can't just keep hanging this guy down in the minors anymore. It's time to just improve the big league roster.
Yeah, that's part of it, right? Maybe, they'll say, okay, we've got, about 3 weeks or 2 weeks after you come back from the All-Star break to the trade deadline. let's give Wilson a shot. Let's see what he can do. He's earned the promotion, and we have a guy here at the major league who has gotten an opportunity. And I think this was, the kind of maybe the straw that broke the camel's back, Mike, was obviously he got an opportunity without Harper and Schwarber in the lineup. He got an opportunity, and he just did not come through. I mean, again, I just say he just did not hit the ball hard at all. It wasn't a case where he was hitting in bad luck. He was hitting line drives right at each other, right at people. He was hitting dribblers. He was hitting soft ground balls. He was hitting pop-ups. And again, you look back at his track record to last year at this time, and it's almost a full year of non-productivity. You're halfway through the season. Okay, they signed him for $8 million. They owe him $4 million. I mean, let's try Wilson and see maybe if we can improve the major league roster here a little bit, and let's give him a shot.
Merrifield, 199, 3 home runs, 11 ribbies, 4 doubles, a triple, 15 walks, 21 runs scored. He appeared in 53 games and played 20 games in left, 12 at second, 8 at third. And I guess a lot of this is, too, Mike, because he didn't hit, trying to force him into the lineup is also keeping Sosa out of the lineup a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And you go over Merrifield's stats there. I think one of the home runs was off a position player, if I'm remembering correctly. So, I mean, there you go. Yeah, I mean, again, when they signed him in the offseason, it looked so good. It looked to be the perfect fit. It just didn't, it didn't play out that way. And you have to perform, even on a team that's got 61 wins and is 6.5 games up on the Dodgers for home field in the National League and is 9.5 up on the Braves for the division. But you got to perform, and Whit Merrifield didn't do it.
By the way, Whit Merrifield, 35 years old. Wilson is 29, so keep that in mind. Mike McGarry, Press of Atlantic City, pressofac.com. Last night, a lot of key moments in this game last night, but the continuation of Trey Turner just scorching hot. That's one. The double play in the 8th is a huge bases-loaded moment, and the catch from Rojas last night. All those together in front of 44,000 people, it had to feel like a playoff atmosphere the whole series.
Yeah, absolutely. All 3 games felt like the playoffs, felt like October there. Really electric moments, and Rojas kind of flashing what he brought to the team last year, right? He made a lot of catches. I don't know how many center fielders make the catch that Rojas made last night, and it was a game-saving play. And if he's going to stay on the roster, that's the type of play he has to make. And then he showed his swagger also afterwards with some eye-opening quotes in the post-game press conference, basically saying if you want to get a hit against him, you're going to have to hit it out of the ballpark, because if it's in the ballpark, he's going to catch it. And then he followed that up with a Joe Namath, like no one's coming to Philly and beating the Phillies. So, Johan Rojas got a feel in his oats last night.
I was going to follow up with, after the game, Rojas had some interesting things to say. Of all the guys on the team, he has to be the last guy you think something that boisterous was coming from.
Yeah, I like it, though. As sports writers, sports media guys, Mike, we say, this guy's too vanilla, this guy's not telling us anything. Hey, a little youthful swagger never hurt anybody. There's enough veterans in that clubhouse. Maybe today they walk by him and say, hey, guy, you might want to relax a little bit next time. But, having that enthusiasm and the confidence, that's what you want in guys. You get tired of tip your cap. That's a good team over there. Give me a little Johan Rojas every now and then in my post-game press conference.
Well, he makes a big play like this. He also had a big hit in the game last night. But, man, oh, man, it's funny because they have said before, Mike, the best version of our team is with Johan Rojas. And you wonder if that's in their mind. We keep hearing guys like Jim Bowden and different pundits saying they're looking to improve center field. But he makes a catch like that last night, I know. But is the bat too much for him to overcome?
Well, I think he's hit better since he's been up. I looked at it last night since he returned. I think he's batting .238, and he's shown more of a desire to sort of shorten up his swing, bunt, put the ball on the ground, and sort of use his speed. And his defense has been better since he's been recalled. early this season he was inconsistent out there. He wasn't making the plays that he was making last year. So that's why I say to go back to Merrifield and kind of tie it all together. I like a right-handed bat, in left field, and I like a Marsh Rojas platoon in center field, at least for the rest of this season. What you do next year with Justin Crawford or Christian Pache or whatever. But this year, I think that's the best version of the Phillies. Right-handed bat in left field and a platoon in center field with Marsh and Rojas, and then bringing Rojas in to play defense in the late innings and shifting Marsh to left field when you have a lead.
Well, that's the gist of it there. What do we learn about the Phillies after the 3-game series with the Dodgers?
Well, the Phillies right now are better than the Dodgers. And, it starts with the starting pitching, basically. The Phillies starters were tremendous all series. Wheeler, Sanchez, and Nola did a great job. They shut down Shohei Ohtani. He went 3 for 10 in the series with no extra base hits. Now, the Dodgers are banged up. That's a caveat. Glasnow's out. Kershaw is out. Yamamura is out. Walker Buehler's out. Mookie Betts is out. Max Muncy's out. So if the Phillies see the Dodgers again, the Dodgers are going to have a different look come October. But right now, in the middle of July, the Phillies are better than the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's no doubt about it. What happens in October, we'll see. But as of right now, the Phillies are a better baseball team, and it starts with the starting pitching.
And we saw the starting pitching. You got Wheeler, you got Nola. I thought a big spot in the game, too, Mike. He gives up the home run to Lux, the 9-hole hitter, and now he got the top of the order up, and he strikes him out, strikes out the side. I think that's in the 4th inning. Huge moment for Nola to settle in there.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a great job, not only against Ohtani, but against Will Smith and Freddie Freeman and Hernandez and the top of that whole order. There were a lot of big outs they got there. In the second game of the series, Jeff Hoffman gets Will Smith to fly out to the right field wall for the final out of that game. Phillies fans were holding their breath on that one. And Matt Strahm, after he gets Ohtani, he gets Hernandez to line the right field in the 7th inning of that game. So they did a tremendous job against the top of that lineup. But again, one caveat, Mookie Betts will be back in October, and it could be a different story, a different Dodger team. But right now, there's no way to dispute it. The Phillies are a better baseball team than the Los Angeles Dodgers.
All right, Oakland's in town this weekend. Obviously, A's not very good, but, Mike, I'm imagining the Philly scouts will be keeping an eye on a couple guys in this series.
Yeah, you want to look at Rooker, right? He's a guy that's been rumored to sort of be on the block, and he's exactly what the Phillies kind of need. And I think tonight's game is interesting. I think Ranger Suarez, can he get back on track? What will he look tonight? Can he sort of regain his mojo a little bit? And then tomorrow, you have the kid from Bishop Eustace, Tyler Phillips, making his first big league start, at Citizens Bank Park. So I think it's an interesting series to sort of look at as we head into the All-Star break.
Last one from Mike McGarry here. Zach Wheeler not pitching. Precautionary in your mind? He's not going to pitch on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't want to mess around with backs. Backs can linger. Backs can be a problem. Backs, can be tricky sometimes. So you have a 9.5 game lead. It's almost the perfect time to go to a bullpen game because if you don't pitch a lot of your relievers on Sunday, they might be off for 5 or 6 days, and you wonder how they are coming out of the break. So this gives Zach Wheeler, a little bit of a vacation to sort of let that back heal up and not let it linger. So perfectly good decision, more precautionary than anything. Look, if it was game 1 of the National League Division Series, Championship Series, and the World Series on Sunday, there's no doubt that Zach Wheeler would be out there.
All right, Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City, pressofac.com. Phillies and the A's this weekend. Whit Merrifield released by the Phillies before the game tonight, and Weston Wilson is up. All right, Mike, we'll talk to you next week, pal.
We'll see you down the road. Thank you.